This is Jim. Jim is a farmer. Every year he goes out to his field and throws out the seeds. Some of the seeds fall on the path. Because they can be easily seen, the birds come and eat them. Some of the seeds fall on rocky ground. They grow fast, but because they can't really grow deep roots, they aren't able to get enough water from the ground. So, they wither and die. Some of the seeds fall among the thorns. They aren't able to grow there either because the thorns take away the space they need to grow. But the rest of the seeds fall on good soil. These seeds are able to grow into big, healthy plants. Jim is able to get a lot of good crops from these seeds. Jesus compares the seeds in this story with the Word of God. Some people hear God's words and forget them right away. These are like the seeds that get eaten by the birds. Some people hear God's words and live according to them for a while. But over time, they slowly forget what they've learned and get back to their old way of living. These are like the seeds that fall on rocky ground. Some people hear God's words, but because they have so many worries, they don't even take the time to think about what He has said. These are like the seeds that fell among the thorns. But the people that hear God's words and live according to them are like the seeds that fall on good soil and grow to bear large crops. Does anyone put a lamp under a bucket? No. You put it in a place where it gives light to the whole room. That's how your light is supposed to shine for everyone to see. By your good deeds, they will get to know your Father in heaven. This is Jim. Jim is a farmer. In the springtime, he goes out to his field and throws seeds on the ground. After he has done this, he goes home and he waits. Weeks and months pass by. Jim does not have to do anything to the field. The plants begin to grow all by themselves, getting bigger and bigger until they produce crops. The only thing that Jim has to do is to harvest the new growth. Jesus compares this seed to a life with God. Oftentimes it takes a while to grow, but just like Jim, God is not worried. God knows that we will continue to grow, just like the seeds grew into plants, because this is what we were created to do. Jim has a small mustard seed and plants it in the ground. After some years have gone by, he passes by the place where he first planted the mustard seed. The small seed has grown into a huge tree. The next day, Jim wants to bake a cake. He plans on using a lot of flour for the cake and only a small amount of yeast. The little bit of yeast makes the whole cake rise. Jesus often used parables to show his listeners who God is and how He works. After sharing the parable, Jesus would explain its meaning to his listeners and the disciples. One day, Jesus crossed a lake with his friends, the disciples. While they were crossing, a storm appeared. It was so heavy that the disciples were afraid of the boat sinking. Jesus did not know what was happening because he had fallen asleep before the storm appeared. The disciples woke him, shouting, "Jesus, save us! We're sinking!" Jesus got up and turned towards the storm. "Be calm." Immediately, the storm stopped and the waves disappeared. Jesus asked his disciples, "Why are you afraid? Are you still not trusting God to protect you?" But they were so confused and stunned, asking each other, "Who is this Jesus? Even in the wind and the waves listen to him and obey his command."